As we enter the holiday season and your family members start to blame Trudeau for the housing crisis in Canada, show them this graph. Because compared to last year, in virtually every province in this country, we are building less housing than before. With some of the most conservative governments building significantly less homes before, with Doug Ford having lost 3,000 new builds this year alone. On the other side of the spectrum, the NDP government in British Columbia has had over 4,000 extra new builds this year alone. So why is it that the only part of Canada that is seeing massive growth in housing starts is where the NDP are in government in British Columbia? It's because instead of favoring developers, they are favoring citizens and actual housing being accessible to those citizens. Because if your government wants to blame Trudeau and Liberals and socialism, then the provinces like Ontario and Quebec that are more right-leaning should be seeing growth in the housing starts. But we're seeing the most amount of growth in the most left-leaning government in our country. That's because they're actually doing things like regulating short-term rentals to turn them into actual homes, or making it easier for cities to build more homes near transit, which is something that is highly needed, especially in Ontario. They're also updating zoning rules to allow for more townhouses, duplexes, and triplexes. This type of mixed housing is extremely important, especially in dense cities like Toronto. And they're also helping renters with costs and security, because it is almost impossible to rent right now, as people who are trying to make money in the real estate market are squeezing out their renters to pay for their obscenely large mortgages at their higher interest rates. They're also looking at expanding the speculation and vacancy tax to create more homes. Essentially what this means is that we actually do have houses that are in the market that should be part of our supply, but they are not. They are being removed from the supply, which is only increasing the demand. Because just because something exists does not mean that it is part of the actual supply if it is being left off the market actively. And when they implemented this, it turned nearly 20,000 empty properties in the Metro Vancouver area into homes. These were buildings that were already built, being added to the supply. When we talk about increasing supply, it's not just about getting shovels in ground in building. It's making the housing that already exists more accessible to the average person. But meanwhile, in Ontario, Doug Ford only cares about getting more money into the pockets of his billionaire developer buddies, who, by the way, are now pissed at him, because he's not manipulating the system enough in their favor. He immediately backtracks when he realizes that the vast majority of people in his province hate what he's doing. But yeah, show that family member this video, show them this chart. It's probably not going to change their mind, but they're going to realize that they're wrong. They just might not continue to argue with you about it.